Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Politics Now, where I talk about modern politics in modern America. Today, we are going to be talking about how Ron DeSantis really has no chance of winning anymore. So, in recent polls, Ron used to be within striking distance of getting over Donald Trump, because he was at an all-time low after the midterms, where everybody blamed him. He was a good 15 points away from overtaking him. And then all of the indictments came and, he goes to 20s. He even ended up in 19 for a little bit. He went down to almost 18. He was in the teens, and now he's back to around 21. And he's just stuck in the purgatory of being at 20 and in the teens, and I can't really see him going anywhere but further down. He got a little bit of a boost when he announced that he was running, but that was only like a 19 to 23 boost, and then it went right back down to 20. And honestly, at this point, I don't think it would be worth it for him to keep running. He is going to lose the primary no matter what. All the starting four states, which will probably be the usual Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, he's probably going to lose that. He is down in the polls there. He is not up by a lot. In a lot of the polls, he is not doing good. Because you see the polls, and it's all Trump beating him in the double digits. Trump plus 31, plus 30, plus 25, plus 21. The only poll that actually has DeSantis up is the CNN poll, so I don't really think that's a very accurate poll. CNN has had absolutely terrible polls because it's CNN. I think it's pretty self-explanatory for why their polls suck. But every other poll is Trump beating him in the double digits. You got Yahoo News with a +1. Yahoo News also isn't really that accurate. Singal, no, it's not also very accurate. There's a lot of not very accurate polls in here where pretty much every single election, if it's not the Democrat in the lead, they're all fucking wrong. It just sucks. There are only a few polls up here that you can actually really trust, and even these polls, there's some of them where I have no idea who is running these polls, but they just suck. You got the CNN poll up here, which is completely different. You got CBS News, and they're kind of right sometimes, but not really. You really gotta go up here and see most of the good polls. Harvard Harris, that's usually pretty accurate. The US Today, US Today, it's worked a lot for me where I'm looking at the polls and it's pretty accurate to who will win. But Ron is just not doing well. I mean, he is getting very, very close to making Pence. Yeah, he might actually reach to the point where him and Pence are very close, where they're basically now as close as how he was to Donald Trump a few months ago, back during the midterms and all that. But yeah, it's not looking very good. The more candidates that seem like they're going to join the race, they're only going to detract from Ron, because pretty much it's everybody against Trump like 2016. Everyone wants to take down Donald Trump and try and stop him from winning. But these candidates are just joining the race and making their front runner for the anti-Trump league. It's not going to work. They're just taking votes away from him. All these random nobodies who will never win the election. Mike Pence is probably the highest rated one. But even then, who is going out there and voting for Mike Pence? Literally. The only reason he has any relevance now is because he was the vice president to Donald Trump. That is the only reason anybody actually gives a crap about him. But like Nikki Haley, it's not 2000 anymore. Nobody is voting for a neocon. We are just done with the neocons, which is kind of why people like Trump, because he's not the same old neocons from the 2000s and 2012 and all the other candidates. That's why he won in 2016, because he was an outsider and people were tired of the neocon candidates, which just flooded the race like this race here. These these people, I can see some of them being well liked, and if this was a one horse race or maybe two of them at the bottom, I could see one of them becoming really popular, but that's few and far between. Most of the candidates, especially DeSantis has really turned his back on a lot of the people who vote for Trump and would support him if he ran after Trump already got the second term. And it kind of is just going to ruin his political career. Running this cycle when Trump wants to get a second cycle and he is beating him so badly at the polls, it's not going to help him. Was there any doubt that after Donald Trump that DeSantis was going to be the likely successor and that the plan was Trump gets this poll and then DeSantis goes after him for his 2 terms and hopefully we win those elections? Because personally, in my opinion, DeSantis is a good governor. He's not going to be a good president. He is good at the small-scale Florida governorship. I don't think he can be a good president. You have his past voting record, which will probably be brought up in the debates, where he did a lot of like rhino, neocon votes on important issues, and it really isn't going to help him when that's brought to light during the debates, which I assume they will. And then you have all the other people in the clown car just filling it up, detracting from his votes, because Trump is still at the 50s, and if you got rid of all these other candidates, I still don't think DeSantis would have a shot at winning, because that's assuming that every one of these other people who are voting for these other candidates would actually vote for DeSantis, which some of these people, these candidates, I don't really think that they would vote for DeSantis if their candidate dropped out. I think some of them might vote for Trump, because there's like Tim Scott. I could probably see his votes going to Trump. He is a pretty nice guy, but honestly, he doesn't have any shot at winning, and when he inevitably drops out of the race, I don't really see him endorsing DeSantis like with a lot of these people. They will immediately after they leave the race, they will try and endorse DeSantis, and then once they get into their mind that DeSantis has pretty much no shot of winning, they're probably going to just vote for Trump because they want to be vice president. Mike Pence did it. They all want to do it now. Yeah, and the real kicker for DeSantis is that there hasn't been a lot of polling in Florida for the presidential primary, but if these polls are accurate, Trump is actually beating DeSantis, because you have these recent polls that have come out, and they're Trump +8, Trump +3. And if these polls are actually accurate, that means that Trump is beating DeSantis in his own state, which will likely be the end of the DeSantis campaign. If he loses Florida, it will be the ultimate death blow to his career. DeSantis losing Florida would be a major embarrassment for his campaign, and he would probably never hold office ever again. Yeah, but if he loses Florida, he's just screwed. He's screwed regardless, but he needs to at least win Florida to maintain any sort of political career, because at this rate, it's not going well for him. He only has Florida to bank on, but that isn't going to help him when he loses the primary and completely destroys his base and his political career. So that's the end of that. Do you think that DeSantis has a shot at winning? If you do, make sure to tell me in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.